Funko here. Welcome to my channel. This is my first video about Star Wars Unlimited. I love this game, and today's video is going to be on my first pre-release, going through the cards I picked, all the rares I got, and you can help me decide if did I pick the right deck? We'll see. If you are here and you like the video, please help me a lot if you subscribe to the channel. Starting a new channel is always a lot of work, so I hope you enjoy the show. For my history with this game, I love Star Wars Unlimited. It's my first paper card game. I've played a lot of digital card games, but this is my first physical card game. And I didn't go to the launch of the game's pre-release events or the launch events. I've been playing a lot in the last couple of months. A bunch of fun with set 1. And so when set 2 came up, I signed up for 3 pre-releases. So I went to 1 last night. I've got 1 coming up on Monday. And then I've got another one on Tuesday, and then we've got the launch of set 2 on Friday, where I've ordered 2 booster boxes, and I'm going to be cracking those on stream because I do stream on Twitch as well. So I'll put some info for my Twitch stream and stuff below if you want to go check that out and watch me crack a couple of boxes live. It's going to be a fun day. And because I'm in Australia, that'll actually be before the rest of the world gets to do their launch because of time, math, and we live in the future and all that. The pre-release I went to last night was at my friendly local game store called Beskar Forge Gaming in my town. We got 17 players for this pre-release. They're also doing 2 more tomorrow, but I won't be going to those. I thought 5 might be a bit too much, so I'm going to 3. Yeah, we had 17 players. We had an hour to open the pool and build our deck. Then we had 3 best of 3 Swiss rounds. We got a booster pack for attending, and then we got an extra booster if you won all your 3 matches, if you went 3-0. That might sound weird to some folks. I know it's pretty standard to get a pack per win, different ways of doing it. Mostly that's down to stock issues. In Australia, it's kind of hard for stores to get stock, especially this store running 3 pre-releases. They obviously have to provide pricing for all those pre-releases, so it just shook out that, yeah, we got a booster for attending, and then the people who went 3-0 would get another booster. We also did do a door prize for a single booster, so one person did get an extra booster just at random, which was fun. The main thing is there, you know, for opening the sealed pool and playing some games with set 2, which we did. I'll put an image up here of the room we played in at the game store. So this was at the end of the building phase. Most people had moved off to stretch their legs before the first game, so you can see there's not many players here. Also, we fit, I think, 15 players in this room. 2 were off in another room recording the games for YouTube because the store also does YouTube stuff. Yeah, there's still not much room. It's a bit of a shoebox, but there is still room to turn cards sideways, and we had a great time. My spot to build was in the bottom there. You can see my sick custom Rogue Squadron playmat. I'll do a video soon going over my Star Wars Unlimited kit that I take to events and the pre-release kit especially, and break that down. So if you're interested, keep an eye on the channel, subscribe, and you'll get notified. But without further ado, let's check out the pool that I opened. Now, you can see I've already opened this box because we had to play with it last night. I don't exactly remember the order of the cards, not be able to recreate the exact opening process, but if you haven't seen the pre-release kits, they're pretty cool. They come with the 2 leaders, Moff Gideon and Mando, paper tokens for damage. You also get a rules kit, which is pretty similar to the set 1 rules, but it also includes info about bounty, capture, smuggle, and the new card abilities. So it's a nice little kit, especially for new players. Very similar to the starter decks, which we won't get to look at until this Friday when they release. You also get a little soft box, little cardboard deck box, which is nice for new players that don't have one. You also get a divider. You only get 1 divider, but I have 2 because someone didn't want theirs, and I think these are sick with the card art for the set, so I picked those up for $50 Australian. You also get 6 booster packs, which is, you know, the main event. Here are the leaders that you get in the promo leaders for the pre-release. They're hyperspace this time. Last time Luke and Vader were just regular on one side and then foil on the other. This time they are hyperspace and then foil on the other side, which is very pretty. I will say they are very curved. This wasn't that big of an issue in set 1. I'll show another example of a set 1 foil and a set 2 foil, but the pre-release leaders especially are incredibly curved. which is a bit disappointing. I think there's sort of ways you can mitigate that with, I can never remember, if it's bending one way, you need to moisten the card with a hydration pack. If it's bending the other way, which I think is the case here, you need to use a desiccant pack, which absorbs moisture, and that should help kind of curl it back to closer to flat. But yeah, they are pretty pringly, so that's not great. You know, you can see it just rocking there like that. So as an example, this is a set 1 foil, which does have a little bit of curving. You know, it's not 100% flat, but if you compare that to, you know, it's pretty significant that this one is curved more, especially when you put them down. You can see this one really rocks, whereas this one not so much. And to compare a regular set 1 foil to a set 2 foil, same kind of thing. The set 2 foils just seem very bendy. I don't know if that's the climate in Australia. It might be based on where they're printed, because I know the cards are printed in a few different locations. But yeah, the set 2 foils are quite curvy, which is a bit disappointing, because I think the set 1s, while they had some curve to them, wasn't that bad. And I'm not a player that really minds about that kind of stuff. I know some players do not want to run foils for that reason in their deck. So it might be for set 2 that foils make the cards a bit marked. You know, if it's bending enough that you can tell that it's a foil card versus your regular cards in your deck, that unfortunately gives you some indication of what that card might be. You know, an unscrupulous player could put specific foils in their deck to know where those specific cards are. So if the curving's that bad, it might present a problem for competitive play. I don't know if that will continue for the rest of set 1 when we start opening booster boxes and stuff. We'll have to see. The cool thing about the pre-release is, you know, you're obviously going to open 6 packs. You have up to 6 different leaders, but you also get these 2. So you always know for your pre-release kit, you're going to have a yellow heroic and a green villain in Mando and Moff Gideon. So that does give you some sort of security. I happen to think the Mando's pretty good as a leader. I think Moff Gideon's not so good, but, you know, at least you know you're going to get those in your packs. So I'll just put those to the side. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is lay out the pool that I got, go through the process of what I do at a pre-release to arrange all the cards and figure out what deck I want to build. Then once I've got the cards laid out, I'll go through some of the, you know, the different colors and what looks strong. And then I'll break and show you the deck that I ended up making. And then you can all judge me and say how wrong I did it. But it was my first pre-release. I was pretty happy with the deck I got. Definitely happy with the pools. So we'll start off with the rares, because I did separate those out. So the first rare, I do remember this was the first rare that I pulled, which is Stolen Landspeeder, which is an interesting card. I don't know how good it's going to be in Limited, but it's an interesting card, which is, yeah, if you play it from your hand, your opponent gets it, and then the bounty is once you kill it, you can then play it on your side. So it's pretty weird for a Limited card, I think. So we'll group the colors usually into heroic, neutral, villain, and then in each color type as well. In that same pack, I actually pulled a second rare in the foil slot, which was Xanadu Blood, which is a pretty cool card. So that was pretty nice to get a double rare pack right off the jump. So the rest of these, I don't remember the order in which I pulled them. Obviously, this is a hyperspace, so this is another bonus rare that would have been in the uncommon slots in the deck. Evidence of the Crime. Take control of an upgrade that costs 3 or less and attach it to an eligible unit of your choice, which has the potential to be pretty nice. So we'll put that there. So we pulled Chewbacca, which is a cool rare. He's a 4/10 with grit, and when played, you may defeat a unit with 5 or less remaining HP. He's obviously blue heroic, and interestingly, his smuggle cost changes him from blue to red, which means he smuggles, if you're not in red, for 11 resources, which is quite a lot. Put him up here because he's a heroic card. I got Kira, interesting yellow. I'm probably going to go speed through these a little faster. Imprisoned. Attaches to a non-leader unit. Attached unit loses its current abilities and can't gain abilities. That's pretty interesting because it's not like loses everything. Keywords are not abilities. I believe that's correct. Hi, Funko here. That was not correct. Keywords are abilities. If they're bold and in red, it's a keyword, and that is an ability. So it does remove those. Back to the video. I didn't end up playing it, so it didn't end up really mattering. Next one was Palpatine's Return, which is a great card. Somehow, Palpatine returned. And then finally, I was lucky enough to pull a legendary, which was very exciting. So in my pre-release, I opened Rey unit, which is cool. And spoiler, I didn't end up getting Kylo's unit or leader. So that part didn't end up mattering, but I really like the art for this card. I know a lot of people may or may not. It's very stylized, but yeah, I think Ray keeping the past is a pretty cool pull for the pre-release. So she will go into the Heroic Blue. Now, the rest of these are all the commons and uncommons. I probably should have started with leaders, actually, now that I think about it. So the leaders I pulled for my packs were Cad Bane, Ray in Heroic, a Hyperspace Gar Saxon, which is cool, a regular Gar Saxon, Fennec in yellow, and Young Han. So pretty good selection of leaders. You know, that's what you want to see in a pre-release, to just give you options. What you really don't want is doubles, or at least multiple doubles, because then that really forces you into you know, a specific color. Obviously didn't pull a green hero other than Moff Gideon, who is in the pre-release. You know, we could pair any of these heroes with a green base to run some sort of green deck. Probably out of this, you know, just off the jump, I really like Young Han. Getting to pay things, damage things to make them cheaper is really nice. And probably Ray, who is a small unit but makes small units bigger. I've had a lot of success with that. I've been doing a lot of practice sealed online on Force Table, just playing against bots, so the games weren't like very challenging, but just building sealed pools. Ray seemed to be very interesting with a lot of the, you know, and she has Restore 3 as well when she flips out on turn 6. So giving something an experience token when she attacks and Restore 3 is pretty nice. So straight away I was kind of leaning towards Heroic, and obviously with the Legendary Ray as well. You know, I've also had good results with Gar Saxon and Cad Bane if you get the right deck, so I wasn't really locked into anything. And yeah, we'll just go through the rest of the cards now. Bases don't really matter because you can play any common base in a pre-release, but we did get a nice Hyperspace Coronet City on Corellia. Unless it's Coronet, I think it's Coronet. Deathwatch Hideout, Remote Village, another Coronet City, a Remnant Science Facility, and Navarro City. The nice thing about the bases is the new art for the tokens. Most people I know just use either like acrylic tokens or dice to represent experience and shields and things like that. But it's cool to see new tokens with new art. So there's the new shield with the Mando arm shield, and then the Mandalorian for experience, which is cool. I think that's the same. Oh yeah, and I guess that's the hyperspace version, which is cool. So we'll just go through these now. So we got Spark of Hope for Heroic. Yeah, we're just going to fast forward through this bit. I ended up going through each card and pros and cons, and it just ended up being so long. So we're just going to speed through all this, and then we'll come back to where we ended up with the pool. Yeah, almost done. I'm so sorry. A pretty nice card too. So that is our pool. Right away, I think, just based on, you know, the numbers of cards, you can kind of see green-blue here is we have more than yellow-red. There's probably, I ended up getting pretty into the idea of Heroic based on, you know, a lot of these big Wookiees, definitely the Legendary Ray and Chewie, but also some of our green as well, like Adelphi Patrol Wing is really good, just a nice big space body that lets you get in for 2 extra damage with the initiative. The modded cohort and the Sundari Peacekeeper. I really liked the idea of the amount of restore, you know, between Ray Leader restoring and Moisture Farmers, which can get buffed up with Ray's experience tokens. Top Target, healing our base, so like some of our rares, Evidence of the Crime and Imprisoned. So we had a lot of, I was pretty set on blue, and then I was close between, I would have really liked to play yellow, because I think yellow is incredibly strong in set 2. We just didn't really get kind of the threshold for yellow, you know, like even with the heroics as well. It was fine, but yeah, I got really into the idea of definitely being blue for Ray, and then as I looked at yellow, I just think green kind of lined up more with what I wanted to do. There was some nice Imperial red, but just not a lot of it, you know? Like the Trandoshan and the Cassantans were cool, but A lot of the kind of red that I looked at, you know, like I don't think we're playing Bo-Katan. There was some Covetous Soldiers and, sorry, Housecast Soldier and Covetous Rivals. But yeah, just not really a lot in red that I was that excited about. Whereas if you look at green, you know, the two timely interventions was big for me. Like ambush is just such a strong keyword, and being able to take things out before your opponent gets to react to them. And ambush units, you know, we had the modded cohort in heroic, as well as the mercenary company and the two timelies. I didn't end up running, well, I mean, I'll get into it when I show you the deck that I built. Enforced Loyalty was also an option to kind of, sorry, not Enforced Loyalty, that's a terrible card. Outflank, like the baby Rebel Assault of getting to combine two actions, was definitely something that I was excited about too. And, you know, just generally, I think green, blue was looking very strong. Yeah, that's kind of what I ended up leaning into. So what I'm going to do now is I'll take a quick break and sort these all out. And show you what we've got in green blue. But if you disagree, if you think, hey, like, you know, how are you passing up Xanadu Blood and a Lurking TIE Phantom? Like, there's definitely an argument for yellow. I still think my heroic of the cards we opened was going to be better than the villainous. That's where I ended up. What I'll do now is I'll take a quick break. I'll reorder these and show you the deck I ended up building and some of the cards that didn't make the cut from those colors. So we'll be back in 1 sec. So here is the deck that I decided to build. Ended up being green-blue heroic with Rey as the leader. I was pretty happy with this deck. There's a lot of, you know, good low cards that are going to benefit from Rey giving them experience, either when, you know, her action or when she comes out on attack, as well as a good amount of Sentinel with Village Protector, Gamorrean Guard if we have a green unit out, bigger units like the Chewie and the Wookiees, ambushing cards in with Timely Intervention, or just having ambush like the Mercenary Company and the modded cohort, decent space wing it looked like, you know, between mercenary gunship, a lot of drops that would hit low, so we have, you know, a good curve, but also, you know, can benefit from Rey because she can give an experience token to things that have 2 or less power. In terms of the bounties and upgrade sort of stuff, Rich Reward and Top Target are good bounty options that'll get us some bonuses, either experience tokens in Rich Reward, healing in terms of Top Target. Imprisoned and Evidence of the Crime were a little possibly a more sideboard, but they're rares, they're new, I wanted to check them out. You know, Evidence of the Crime, being able to take an upgrade from an opponent and give it to us would have been interesting, could potentially be interesting. And then Imprisoned, at the time, I thought was a great card. In hindsight, I don't know if maybe I should have taken this out because attached unit loses its current abilities and can't gain abilities. I feel like is more of a constructed card. There's, you know, more likely to see funky cards in constructed that can do interesting things. Limited is a lot more people just playing stats and trying to get in, you know, more consistently. So, but it was a fun card to kind of put in there. And then if it didn't end up mattering, could just be resourced. But this ended up being a perfect 30 once I built it. I did have a few extra things that I then ultimately cut. So initially I had these 2 in, and then I took 1 out. And then, you know, we had a lot of 6 drops. There was the 2 Gentle Giants and the Mercenary Company, Chewie at 8, and the Adelphi Patrolling at 5. I just felt like the 2 Cargo Juggernauts that required a blue unit to get the heal off, which is what you're really playing it for. It is a 4/6 with shield, which is great, but really you want that base heal. And there just wasn't a lot of blue units, you know. High end, yeah. Low end, they're probably not going to be around by that stage. So I ended up cutting 1, and then as I got down to, you know, needing to make a couple of cuts, I ended up cutting both. I think I'm still okay with that. I could have played Spark of Hope, which lets you put a defeated unit in as a resource. That might have let us get to more of the bigger Wookiees. I didn't end up running it. You know, maybe that was a mistake. I didn't run the 2 outflanks. With how low the board was, perhaps that would have been a good idea. But I definitely think in hindsight, probably taking something like Imprisoned out or Evidence of the Crime that required them to do a thing. You know, if they just didn't play upgrades, Evidence of the Crime wasn't really doing a lot. And if they didn't play anything that I cared about removing its abilities, Imprisoned was kind of a dead card too. So maybe just, you know, being able to combine some of those actions, attack with 2 units and get to claim as a result might have been a better play. Smuggler's Aid, I figured the deck had enough healing that I didn't need to run Smuggler's Aid, even though it is great to put this down as a resource and smuggle it later when you need the healing. But between Ray with Restore 3, the Sundari Peacekeeper with Restore 2, the Cloud car with Restore 2, and the 2 Moisture Farmers with Restore 1. I felt like that was, and Top Target healing the base as well, if we pull that bounty off. It just seemed like Smuggler's Aid just wasn't necessary. Didn't really have enough Underworld that I wanted to run Street Gang Recruiter. You know, we could have got Wookiees back or the modded cohort. I don't know, maybe that would have been an okay play. We only have 2 5-drops, so maybe there was an argument for cutting one of the Gentle Giants and putting a Street Gang Recruiter in. I don't know. Didn't end up doing it. Foundling, just, you know, not having many things that cared about Mandalorian, didn't feel like an include. And then Midnight Repairs, healing 8 damage on units for 4. You know, a lot of my stuff is going to die long before we get the chance to heal it with that card. Units that do have a lot of HP, like the Wookiees, probably don't want to be healed to keep their grit damage up. So that felt like an easy cut as well. So yeah, this was the deck I ended up going with. I was pretty happy with pulling a legendary in my first pre-release. That's fun. And then getting to pair it up with Ray was cool too. This was the deck I ran. It was a perfect 30 at the end. What do you think? Do you think I missed a trick by not going red, or would you have changed some of the you know, the cuts and what I ran here? Let me know in the comments. In terms of the results, I didn't really take any photos or any video while I was playing, just because I was enjoying myself and hanging out with people and playing the pre-release. I ended up getting matched in the first game against a Heroic Boba who was running green-yellow and got absolutely destroyed. Heroic Boba seems really good, you know, getting to give things +1/+0 if they have a keyword came in a lot and just made for a really aggressive deck. There was a really good play my opponent did with using Cloud Rider, which is the 3/1 with ambush for 2 in yellow. Getting to play that and then sequence the triggers, because the Heroic Boba leader is when you play a unit with a keyword, you can exhaust him and give a unit +1/+0. So because of ambush being a when played effect and that trigger saying when you play, we clarified this to be sure, but the person running the store, who has a lot more experience than us with the game, confirmed that you can order that in the way that Boba gives the +1/+0 to the ambushing unit, and then you complete the ambush after that. So Cloud Rider was able to ambush as a 4/1 and just one-shot my Moisture Farmer on turn 1, and then it ended up coming in later. So getting a 4/1 ambush for 2 resources with Heroic Boba was very powerful. I think the other key moments in that match were him just having space units, the 2/3 with a bounty. I forget its name, I'll probably put a picture up on screen, meant that I couldn't really play, it was awkward to play the Cloud car, because the Twin Pod Cloud car comes down as a 2/2, and then if I can use an action with Ray to put the experience on it, sure, but then also, you know, I need an extra resource for that. So this is a turn 4 play, so like, is playing a 2/2 with Restore 2, and, you know, like, it was just, I could never really get an opportunity to play it down and put the experience on it without them just trading in a 1-cost unit for it. So that was a bit awkward. Ultimately, I healed a lot over the 2 games. So I lost that lost the first 2 games. He took me to 0-2. The first time Emphas Nest really messed me up. Getting to ambush in and giving something -3 was rough. Yeah, game 2 was clawing back. I had a lot of healing going on in game 2. Ray ended up being very powered up between experience tokens and Vambrace. I think she ended up being like a 6/10 by the end of it, healing 3 every swing. So she was just chipping away at the base, healing mine. I think over the course of that second match, he probably did 45 damage to my base to kill me, just because of the amount of healing I was doing. And then in the end, I was getting towards stabilizing. He claimed initiative and then had me at 24 and was able to surprise strike for 6, and that, you know, got me done. Really great opponent. We had a lot of fun. Yellow just seems really good. I think for my future pre-releases, obviously depending what I open, but I think I'll try and go into yellow if I can, just because it seems really strong. Because it's Swiss, also because of the prizing, that meant that I'd lost the first match. I wasn't going to get an extra booster pack. But round 2, I matched into someone playing Hondo yellow. So again, green-yellow. So straight away I was like, oh, okay, I see what's coming. That was interesting. Kind of the same thing, you know, chain code collectors, Cloud Riders, lots of ambush. It's just a very, very strong play. The thing that really goozled me in that match was playing down Ray on turn 5 and them claiming initiative, and then in turn 6 playing Frozen in Carbonite, which is a card that I'd not played against, which is an upgrade that lets you tap a unit and then they do not ready. So that shut down the Ray leader immediately. I knew that I had evidence of the crime, so I was basically hoping to draw into this. Because the Frozen in Carbonite is 3, I can move Frozen in Carbonite onto one of their units. After a couple of turns, I did draw it. He had played out his Hondo unit by that stage. I thought I had a great play of waiting for Hondo to attack and then moving the Frozen in Carbonite from Ray onto him. I noted that it doesn't replay the card, it just moves it. So part of Frozen in Carbonite, it says you also exhaust the unit that you put it on, but if I move it, it wouldn't exhaust it. It would just stop it from readying. So I had to wait till Hondo attacked, then move it. And then it was at that point that my opponent pointed out that Frozen in Carbonite specifically says non-leader unit. So that was why he was able to play it on Ray, but I couldn't move it to Hondo. So I had to move it to the yellow 5/5 with Saboteur. I forget its name. I'll put a picture up here, which was still good, but not as good as shutting his leader down. So that was, yeah, pretty rough. And then just in general, that deck was really strong, and yeah, so pretty disappointing to lose the first 2 matches. I ended up dropping and not playing the third just because it was late already and there being no prizing involved and getting smacked around pretty heavily. I was a bit disheartened and thought, you know what, I'm going to have an early night, lick my wounds, and come back on Monday for my next pre-release match. So overall, I was really happy with the deck. Unfortunately, we came up against 2 yellow-green decks that just really put the pressure on with a lot of aggression. We can't win them all, but it's a lot of fun. Limited in Star Wars Unlimited is so great. Just getting to, have to make the best deck you can with what you get and changing the value of cards when it's not in a constructed environment, I think is really cool. So I'm excited for the next 2 pre-releases, and yeah, let me know in the comments down below, would you have built things differently? Did you think I really goofed up? I'd love to hear it, because like I said, this is my first pre-release, so it's all new to me. And I will keep making videos on this game because I love it. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, please hit the like button. It does help me with the algorithm of making this video more available, and subscribe and you'll get notified when more videos go up. But if you're still here, I appreciate it. And I mentioned at the start, later this week, I will probably do subsequent videos for the 2 other pre-release pools I'm doing. I'm going to do a video on the kit that I take. So if you're interested in what you should bring to a pre-release or just a Star Wars night in general, I'll have a video up for that. And then later this week, when launch day happens, I'll be picking up my 2 boxes and cracking those live on stream. I'll put my Twitch link in the description below and on screen there. So come on, follow the channel, and you can see if I pull any legendaries or even a showcase. That would be great. That's a good point. There were no showcases pulled at this pre-release, so I probably would have mentioned that earlier if there had been. But fingers crossed, we'll get one in the next, 48 plus 12, 60 packs I'm going to open, plus prizes. So we'll see. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. See you next time.